everyone. Hello, how are you doing? I hope that you are all doing well this morning. This is Tuesday and it's May 30th. And I'm going to pull up on my phone just to make certain that we are good to go. So if you can give me a quick minute and let's see here. Yep, I see that we are live. All right, excellent, excellent. All right, so my friends, how are you doing today? My name is Dr. Annette, as you probably know, and I am so excited to bring to you our first summer. I'm going to turn my volume down here. There we go. Our first summer book club or book study. And this is an exciting opportunity for us to come together. We're going to focus this summer on the book Heart, and this is an excellent book. I participated in a book study at my school, actually with school district, because there were teachers from around our district, not this past year, but the year before. And it was a great opportunity to collaborate, to hear more about what other people are doing across the district. And so I thought, this book, at the end of the year, sometimes we're feeling overwhelmed. Sometimes we're feeling frustrated, like we didn't make a difference. We worked really, really hard with some students, and those students just didn't make that progress that we were looking for. Sometimes we're a school leader or a leader of an organization, and you really see people are kind of doing their own thing. There's like this puzzle piece working over here, another person, they're doing their own little puzzle piece within their four walls or in their department. And it's important to bring everybody together so that we all are on the same game plan. So if this is, something that you are seeing as a leader or as you're feeling as a teacher, and you want to make a difference, you want to turn that around to find that passion that you have, then this is going to be the perfect summer to dive deep into your own self, into your own reflective state, to also collaborate on after our live session. Then we'll go into Zoom session, and you can collaborate with others from not only around your local area. Like, for example, I'm in Alaska, so not only people who live in Alaska for me, but people who are nationwide and actually worldwide, because we do have people in our group who are in Canada. So it's an exciting opportunity to use this platform to work together and to share. So without further ado, I'd like to go ahead and start in our workshop. Today's going to be a little bit longer simply because it is our first one, and we have some little housekeeping to take care of. So my friends, we're going to study the book Heart, and the subtitle is Fully Forming Your Professional Life as a Teacher and Leader. All right, and let me look here. I'm going to move that screen a tad. Sorry. And go to the next screen. All right, so heart. You might be thinking, what is heart? Well, each of the letters, heart, stands for an element that is a part of someone's belief and their desires and their passion. So the H, as you can see, stands for happiness, the E for engagement, the A is alliances, the R is risk, and the T is for thoughts. And whenever you look at the entire components, or all the different elements, they can be summarized into one, where we are on a goal. We're searching, we're finding happiness through engagement and meaningful alliances while taking focused risks using intelligent thought and wisdom. And if you have not heard of the term heart print, then you will soon understand what that is. Your heart print matters. All right, my friends. So as we continue, if you haven't had a chance to get this personal journal and also the book study guide, you'll want to go to the guides section in our group, Engage, Educate, Excel, and you will see that there's a guide that's called Book Study, and this is just the first one, and you'll see several posts in there. And the very first post is an introduction. The next one has links. It has the text link. If you don't have the text and you'd like to participate this summer, then I have a link there for you to purchase your book. Also, there is a book study link, and then you'll also see that there is a personal journal. Now, the book study guide, if you'd like to print that off, you could, but it is not as necessary as a personal journal. So I encourage you to print that personal journal off and use this as perhaps put it in a binder, but use it as a way to guide your learning, your reflecting, your experiences through the work that we do this summer. All right, and Here's a couple more pages of that you'll see in there. I want to go back. I forgot to mention. Okay, so here in your journal, if you have it, you look at that success criteria. Okay, that success criteria is going to share with you what it is that we're going to be focusing on this this summer here as we begin. And I'd like to just read that with you. I know that you can see it. Let me find my journal page. But I'd like to read it over with you just so that you can hear what it is for those of you that may be traveling and not able to actually see the content. And where did I put? Okay, I can't find it really quick here. So just let me try and read it here. Let me come up here. And what I wanted to do is to make certain that you understand everything it is that we're focusing on. So if you have some friends or other colleagues who might be interested in this book study, then this would be a great opportunity to join us. So, gosh, I can't even read that. All right, so let me come over here. Oh, I'm sorry, let me hold on a quick moment here. And let me pull it up on my computer that I have here. All right, so whenever we start something, we always want to know what our success criteria is, or we always tell our students as well what it is that we are learning. So this is still spooling up, and I apologize. You can probably see it. If you're here and you haven't grabbed it, why don't you go ahead and open up the guides and go ahead and snag that, download it so that you have it. And as soon as this pulls up, I will go ahead and do some, and I'll read it. I have this my Chromebook is just really, really slow right now. I don't know why. Okay, here we go. So the success criteria, what is it that we want to focus on during this book study? And then at the end of our book study, we will have a better understanding. All right, so success criteria, we're going to consider and address the underlying reasons why you have chosen and remain in the teaching profession, whether you're a teacher or now a school leader. Explore the challenges and stressors related to the profession, as well as your own inner strengths and resilience. We're going to recognize, support, and engage in alliances with other educators, even here in our group, who have an intrinsic motivation to work for every student's success. Understand what it means to develop and pursue a deeply mindful teaching and leading life and professional career. And yes, my friends, you can have all of those. And then recognize the wisdom of becoming more intentional about choices made in your professional teaching life. Okay, so that is the success criteria. That is our goal. By the time we are done with our book club here, those are the things that we want to be able to walk away with. Okay, I also had the book study goals and tips for journaling, because you will be doing some journaling in your personal journal. And then there are some also, let me back up a page. There are also some bits of information, the professional educator's mission and principles, which will focus, and the energy state grid, which will also focus on as we continue. But I want you to take a look at that next page, the introduction. And before we go any further, one of the things that I'd like for you to do is to take a moment, and I want you to be thinking about where you are right now. And I'm going to just pause here for a moment, and so that you can answer these questions. So, and if you don't have your journal printed off, that's fine. Just grab a notepad, something, or even in one of the blank pages in your book, your heart book, if you have that. So I became a teacher because, and I want you to fill that out. My colleagues see me as a type of teacher or leader who, and then the last question is, I know I am the type of teacher or leader who, and respond to those questions. I'll give you a minute to do that. All right, so I know you probably haven't had enough time to write down your thoughts, but this is something you definitely want to come back to as you are continuing your education and your your learning, reflective learning. All right, let's go on to the next page. All right, so my friends, today we're going to focus on the H, happiness. And if you look at the book study guide, I have all of the different chapters outlined. I didn't want it to be like tons of work for us to engage in, but I want it to be more reflective. So that's the reason why I broke the meeting times the way I did. So it's 4 chapters a week, but it's like 2 chapters at a time. And the author actually recommends, going through 1 chapter at a time and just really focusing on that. So after we're done here this summer, because we wouldn't have enough time to complete the book if we did it that way. But I encourage you throughout this next school year to go back through the book and just do it 1 chapter at a time. There's like 30 chapters, so even 1 chapter a week would work out well. All right, so again, we're going to focus on happiness. And whenever you have all 5 of these components, all 5 heart elements are essential for deeper connections to our work over the lifetime of our professional careers. And again, our heart print matters. Okay. All right, my friends. So we're going to look at part 1, developing heart. And our essential question is, are you a person of passion, positive impact, and perseverance for the education profession? And that is our overarching question that we're going to focus during the month of June. And the part 1 with the developing heart. Now the H is for happiness, and the H happiness goes over chapters 1 through 7. And we're going to examine actions that help us reconnect to the meaning of our life and our career as educators and professionals. And we will look at steps to stay connected to our calling towards the profession and maintain joy in the journey. I always tell my children at school, I have my own children, is that whenever you are working, right, as an adult, you want to do something that you enjoy. Because if you enjoy what you're doing, you will never work a day in your life. But if you feel the grind and you have to get up and you have to go and you really don't feel like doing it, then that becomes work and that becomes more of a burden. And what we want to do is to find that joy, maintain that joy so that we can have true happiness. And that's our goal. Okay, so let me go on to the next page. There we go. Okay, so Chapter 1, we're going to focus on the happiness dilemma. And if you have your book handy, what I'd like for you to do is open up your book to page 7. And page 7 is the beginning of the happiness dilemma. Now, if you don't have your book, I am going to read over some of the information on page 7. But before I do that, I'm hoping that you've had an opportunity to take a look at the author, Timothy Knoll. He is a past teacher, a past principal, a past superintendent. Now he is an education consultant, and he comes from the Midwest area. He is actually the superintendent of a large school district there in Illinois. And when I did my doctorate studies, the Adelaide Stevenson High School District, that school made huge growth in their academics and their scores and their graduation rate. And it was so huge that it was definitely a focus in my doctoral studies when I was doing that back in, gosh, I started my doctoral degree back in 2010, so it's been a while. But the author tells us why he wrote Heart. And the author also, because the author, let me come back to me for a little bit here. And because the author was a teacher, and because the author was a principal and a superintendent, the author has had an opportunity to look at this from a teacher's perspective. The author knows that he has walked in our shoes as a teacher. He knows the struggles that we have. He knows the challenges. He knows the desires in our hearts. So this was very effective as a teacher, looking at this book and listening to what he was saying in the preface as well as the introduction part. As a school leader, he's been there. He's walked in a leader's shoes. He's looked at a school and transformed a school, not only a school, but a school district. So this is an author who has definitely walked in our shoes. And that's another reason why I love this. I'm going to look on here. The author says that teaching, when properly understood as a career of positive emotion and action, is such a wonderful gift that you can give. And I thought that was something. It's a gift of your heart. And I know that I love, love, love teaching. I've been an educator for 32 years, and I still have that desire to go back into the classroom every single year. Now, there are all these little political things that happen on the outside that can kind of get frustrating, right? But in my heart, I know that whenever I go to school and I work with the students and with the families, it's something that I can make a huge difference. And I always keep that in the front of my mind. Okay. But the author says that I hope that this book can be a gift to your heart, a gift that both enriches your natural talent and helps you to become more intentional about your own professional practice for the personal marathon, and it is a marathon, of your professional teaching life. Um, Furthermore, when we take a look at the introduction, the author shares with us what a heart print is. And the author says that the word heart print is not in the Merriam-Webster dictionary. It's not. You can find footprint or a handprint, but you cannot find heart print. So he tells us that heart print, this is how he defines it. A heart print is, I define your heart print as a distinctive impression and marked impact your heart leaves on others, your students, your colleagues, as your career and your school seasons unfold. And I like that how he breaks this down into seasons, because in life we have different seasons that we go through. Sometimes we're in a season of learning about our career. Sometimes we're in the season of being a mom. Sometimes our season is that hustle and bustle when you're raising your kids. Sometimes that season is when you're at school and you're working with a team that is absolutely amazing. Sometimes we may have a season where we work with a team at school and they kind of want to do their own things, and it makes it hard because you don't really feel like a team that you're working together. So we have different seasons in our life, and I really like that the author brought that out. Now, the author says on page 3, I believe that all 5 of these heart elements are essential to deeper connections to your work over the lifetime of your professional career. You might be strong in one element, but weak in another. You might be great at taking risks, but not very emotionally positive and happy. And no one may really know. You might be positively passionate and happy in your work, but lack the engagement and energy to bring the best of yourself to work each day. You might be awesome at developing your own knowledge, but not very adept at creating alliances and being part of an effective collaborative team. So, your great thoughts and wisdom are not shared and ultimately have limited belief to your school and its students. Okay, so the author says your heart print matters, and that's what we're going to dig into. Now, let me go back to our slides here. Okay, so our essential question, as we were looking at here, let me, if I can, hold on a quick minute, let me move some of my screens around here. All right, so, okay, there we go, sorry. Okay, so the essential question is, are you a person of passion, positive impact, and perseverance? Okay, my friends. And we did focus on these next 7 chapters. We're going to actually look at the H, happiness, and we'll do this through the month of June. All right, so one of the things that I want to read is, if you have your book, go ahead and open it up to page 8. And if you don't have your book, please listen and follow along. Take some notes. It says, Emma Sapala is someone you should get to know. She serves as the science director at the Center for Compassion and Altruism Research and Education at Stanford University. In her book, The Happiness Track, she defines happiness, here we go, as a state of heightened positive emotion, and elaborates further, saying, happiness increases our emotional and social intelligence, boosts our productivity, and heightens our influence over peers. Whenever somebody is in that happy state, they are in that frontal lobe, and that they're making those emotional connections. And when you work with students, to have them in that frontal lobe, help them make those emotional connections. Those are going to be the things that they remember. She further continues, or the author continues, happiness is about your state of being. It is about the heart print of positive emotion we leave at school each and every day. We either walk into work in a positive emotional state or we don't. Alternatively, we are either creating an emotional drag on our students and colleagues, or we are not. Okay, so I want you to think about when you go to school every day, do you have that pep in your step? Are you excited to be there with your students, your teachers, colleagues, the parents that you get to work with? So if that is your feeling, then you are in that state of being. You're that happiness state of being. Now, you and I, I'll continue reading. You and I make an impact each day, one way or the other, and no matter the circumstances of our lives. The students also need us to be at our very best, which on some days can be very difficult to achieve. So, my friends, we each have a story. Your teaching career consists of a sequence of school years or seasons, generally starting in August and ending in late May or early June. And our lives and our careers revolve around one season after another. All of these seasons stack up one upon the other, each with a unique path in its own way, year after year, eventually stringing together the real life chapters of what will become your professional career for the good or for the bad. So it is that daily grind that our school seasons unfold, and it is in our school seasons that our professional life unfolds. Now, you'll notice on the next page, if you're looking on your book, on page 8, there's like a page on the left, and it says here. Let me just come back to me, and I'll show you. If you're in your book, okay, here, and one of the things I really like about this book, it has the text, and then it has some places where you're able to actually put down some reflective thoughts, and you can see that I've kind of been writing all over the place. So as when I do mine, but one of the things that you want to do is to take an opportunity whenever you're reading and something sparks a thought. Write it down there in the side margins, because going back to read those side margins is a great opportunity to reflect and to continue deepen your learning. And it's a skill that I always teach my students, and I hope that they continue to use that skill later on. But lots of thinking goes on when we interact with that text, and getting those thoughts down is important. Okay, so I'm going to continue reading that last paragraph. So what's happiness got to do with it? According to Safala, quite a bit. It maximizes your resilience at work, your creativity for your lessons, and your interactions with others, your productivity, and even your charisma factor. All your formal students and the trail of colleagues that intersect with the wake of your work will remember your happiness state season after season. It becomes part of your reputation in the community and among your colleagues. It's who you are, right? You are. It's that impact that you're making. Speaking of seasons, which season number is this for you? I want you to stop and think. Which season is this for you? Now, as you read this first part of the book, what school year are you in? For example, are you in 2022, 23, right? And is the school season number 1, number 5, 12, or 25, or is it some other number? What time of year is this? First quarter, third quarter, or is it the off season like summer right now as you read these words? I want you to go ahead and take a moment and to address some of those questions. And if you have your book, you can see there on the left side, you can actually write those responses right there in the book. So go ahead and take a moment and focus on your season. Where are you right now? How many years teaching? Was it a successful school year? Was it a challenging school year? The year is 2023. All right, go ahead and write some thoughts down. All right, my friends. So I know that you probably haven't had an opportunity to write all those thoughts down. But the next thing I want us to move into is that connecting, okay? So if you have your book, you'll notice that the author actually shared personal experiences, making connections to where he was at. He was reflecting back actually upon his 8th season of teaching. I'm actually in my 32nd year. I've just finished my 32nd year of teaching my season, but he goes and he talks about some of those struggles, right? What it was like. Was he really making a difference? um, you know, he's really focused and was starting to at work at the beginning of the school year. I connected with this at the beginning of the school year. He's talked about they were entering a school year and there was a teacher strike, and that caused me to remember the teacher strike that actually my district teachers voted to strike. And right now we have a contract imposed upon us, and yeah, so that has its own challenges as well. So we'll be starting this next school year, hopefully with a contract, but you never know how it goes. But he talks about how all of these examples affect our happiness, and what he calls the happiness dilemma, right? So this brings me to that happiness dilemma. It's based upon all those things that are happening in the world outside of the classroom. We're all happy in the classroom, but when you look out all those things that are happening outside, those requirements that the state is even putting more requirements, the district is putting more requirements, the community, whether they are supportive or not, funding. Hopefully states have just finished all their budgets, and now we have funding, so we know what schools are going to get. But all of that impacts your happiness, whether you realize it or not, right? And that is what he calls the happiness dilemma. Knowing that there's all these other things happening on the outside and how it impacts us, and what we can do on the inside in our classroom, in our school. Okay, so not only is it us that we have those challenges, but we also have our colleagues and our parents. They also struggle. I know this past school year, our bus drivers, they went on strike for a week, and all year long, from the beginning of the school year to the end, we had at least one, sometimes 2 days a week where students did not have a bus to bring them to school, and that caused stress for the parents, and that definitely impacted their happiness dilemma. It impacted the students' happiness because they were not able to come to school and to participate, and then they had to have other work outside of the school to complete. And goodness, it was crazy, honestly. So thinking about all of those, thinking about the other people in your building, is there someone like this in your school or in your office experiencing these negative negative, I don't know, things that are happening on the outside? I don't know what the word is, but it's definitely negative. Is there a negative, unhappy person residing within your path of your work? I want you, if so, I want you to be thinking about those people. Can you imagine this person in your mind? If someone is like that, how do you approach that person to help turn them around the other way? Okay. That can be a challenge. But remember, whenever we are looking at our happiness, we are not only looking at ourselves, but also those others that we have an impact on. So here, there's some questions I want you to think about. How do you maintain your happiness at school? Maybe you're at home. How do you maintain your happiness at home or at another work? And then I want you to think about what are some actions that you take at school or home to maintain your positive emotional state with students and colleagues, even on the toughest days. I know for me, something that I do that helps me to maintain my positive emotional state is prayer. I engage in daily prayer, and I offer to God what it is my struggles are, right? So that helps me to maintain my positive emotional state. At school, we have luncheons. Okay, we have luncheons each week. I'm in a portable with a couple other teachers, and each week we take time to come together and just have a lunch together, whether we bring our own lunch or we order out. So those are some things that help me. Okay, go ahead and write some thoughts down. Now, sometimes, I know you're still writing, but sometimes those people that we meet, they have a negative impact. And sometimes that negativity then it's so strong that it comes back on us. And then it starts to bring our positive heartprint, our positive happiness down to a negative, right? So I want you to think about how other people's attitudes and perspectives impact your life, your family, even your health. How are those negative um, thoughts, those negative attitudes, beliefs for the other people? How is it impacting their attitude, their health, their family? And what is it that you can do to help those other people come out of that negativity? In our book Heart, the author does talk about, as an example, one of the people, a teacher who was very, very negative, and he was just almost like, gosh, why am I here today? I don't like being here. Just nothing really positive. And of course, the author was newer to the school and didn't really know this person very well, but the author wanted to talk to this person and find out what was causing that person to be so negative. And it takes a lot of guts to do that, don't you think? And the author finally did it. He wasn't quite certain what to say, but he simply asked the question one day, why do you hide behind this wall of unhappiness? What happened to you? And whenever I read that, I often think about some of those people that I see on the street corner, right? Or someone who is very, very sad. And I wonder what their story is. What is their story? What causes them to be in that state of unhappiness? Um, I just think that is so important to get to know people and to understand them and to help them to um, to help them to come out of that negativity. All right. And if you've ever had a person that you've come in contact with like that, I want you to think about that person and what is it that you can do to help that person come out of that negativity. Okay. Um, Again, there's additional places to write some comments down. Let me go to the next slide here. So these are three of the questions. The first question on the left is from page 8, where I want you to identify your current professional moment in time as, not ought, as you read this, right? So you've done that. The next question, how do you and your colleagues generally exhibit a positive emotional commitment to your students? I want you to be thinking about that question. Write down your thoughts in the book or write it in your journal or notebook, whatever you have. And then that last question, what can you do to bring passion? I need to go and edit that, to your education profession in this season that you're in. What will this look like? How will this make others feel? And then how will this make you feel? Those are important questions. What can you do to bring passion to your education profession in this season? Maybe it's the season that's coming up and you're thinking ahead. What can you do over the summer to help overcome any of those challenges? Participating in this book study is one, right? It's one way to be thinking about the positive things that we do, right? And to expound that up on others that you meet, right? So the connection may just be what this person needs when you meet someone, and maybe just what that person needs to help him or her find the elements of happiness in his or her professional life once again. So what you say definitely does have that an impact. Okay? All right. We're going to go ahead and jump into chapter 2. I know you might need some more reflective time on chapter 3, but I encourage you, or chapter 1, I encourage you to go back and do that. But we're going to move on to chapter 2. And chapter 2 is focusing on the happiness, which is that passion connection. And again, I'm going to start on page 13, and I'm just going to read a little bit here about what the author says. So the happiness passion connection says you are special. That might sound trite, but it is not. You chose this profession. That alone makes you special in my eyes and the eyes of the hundreds of students who pass through your life. And according to Mark Sanborn, who is the author of the New York Times bestseller, The Fred Factor, your passion is part of what makes you special. It's your gifts and your talents. And I recovered from sometimes difficult school seasons, mostly because of my deep passion for teaching and because of colleagues, students, and family members who took the time to reconnect with me, to my deep passion for the work. And that's the beauty, my friends, of having this time in the summer, is to be able to reconnect, to put all the stresses and things that happen during the school year aside, to reflect and to reconnect with others. So that is an interesting phrase, right? Deep passion for work. Well, what does it mean to have a passion for teaching? Passion is an impactful word, and yet it is tough to measure or define. As I am writing this chapter, the author says, I thought back to when I first knew. And I want you to think back to when you first knew that you wanted to be a teacher. It was revealed in one of those singular moments in time when, with great clarity, while sitting in an 11th grade mathematics class at Addison Trail High School in Illinois, I just flat out knew I wanted to become a teacher and maybe someday a fully formed educator. Teaching was what I was meant to do with my work life. When did you know? Can you remember? Why did you choose education as your profession? Was it the influence of a parent, a colleague, teacher, or child? Was it, like me, a singular moment of clarity while learning from my favorite teacher, Al Foster? How did you know teaching children was a choice you would fully embrace? How did you know it was your passion? And then to tap into this idea of passion that we're focusing on, I decided to ask hundreds of educators who have made the choice to join our ranks. In the summer of 2016, during Solution Tree, which is the publisher of the book, during the Solution Trees PLC Institutes, I asked more than 500 educators, just like you and me, to define what passion in the workplace means. Okay, and here's what they said. Passion is what I feel. Passion is what I love, and I love to teach. Passion is to be fully energized in my work. Passion is the emotion I bring to work every day. Passion is what helps me to inspire my students. Passion is what serves me when I get tired. And I know that. Passion is what sustains me in my moments of doubt. Passion is my burning desire to help difficult children. Passion is what motivates me to right the wrongs that I see in my school. Passion is just my style. And according to the dictionary, Merriam-Webster, passion is a strong feeling of enthusiasm or excitement for something or about doing something. Okay? All right, my friends. And an education researcher, I know that you've heard of John Hattie. So John Hattie did some research as well on this topic. And here he quotes Christopher Day, who was a professor at the University of Nottingham. He says, all effective teachers have a passion for their subject, a passion for their pupils, and a passionate belief in who they are and how the teacher can make a difference in their pupils' lives, both in the moment of teaching and in the days, weeks, months, and even years afterwards. So I want you to think, how do your students know that you are passionate about teaching? What is it that you do that lets the students know that you're passionate? Okay. And I know for me, I know that when I am passionate about teaching, I have a lot of enthusiasm, right? I'm very excited, and I help the students make those personal connections and engage the students. And when I am passionate about the content that I'm teaching, one of the things I love to teach is history, social studies. And when I am passionate about that, the students can hear, they can feel that passion. And you know what is exciting? It's amazing to watch them become passionate as well. Think about an example from your own class. Maybe you have some students who they come to class and they're just like, oh gosh, this is going to be boring today. I don't really want to be here today. I have other things that I'd rather be doing. But then as a result of your excitement and your enthusiasm and your engagement that you have with the students, they are 100% ready to to engage. They want to be there. They're excited. They are so happy, right? And that's how the students know that you are passionate about what you do. And on the flip side, you know that somebody else is passionate for by the same reasons. If they come and they are, they are excited, they're happy, they want to share something with you. Um, that passionate moment when you take a stand, right? I think about Hamilton, the movie, Alexander Hamilton. What are you going to stand for, right? And that is something that is definitely demonstrates that passion. Okay, so I hope that with chapter 1 and chapter 2, you can see how it is that we can take our passion from that negativity, help others find that positive happiness, right? And in doing so, what it is that we do to help others see what it is that we are passionate about. Okay, so remember, an effective teacher, an effective leader, they have the passion for their subject, the passion for their school, okay? A passion for their belief in who they are and what they are doing. And that is what really sets an exemplary teacher away or apart from a novice teacher, is that passion. Okay. All right. So let's go through a couple slides here. We talked about the Merriam-Webster, what passion is. We talked about what other educators feel that passion is. And now I want you to connect. Okay. I want you to think about this. Where in the book, there's a page on page 17. It talks about, it asks you to write a vertical line, and it asks you to place an X on what represents your passionate belief in yourself. So if you did that, I want you to be thinking, where did you place yourself on that line that represents your passionate belief in yourself, and why? And write those thoughts down. If you did not do this, or if you don't have the book and you would like to participate, on a piece of paper, what I'd like for you to do is to draw a vertical line. At the bottom, I want you to write 0%. And at the top, write 100%. Now, on that line, draw an X on the percent line that represents your passionate belief in yourself, that you can make a difference in the lives of every student, every one of your students. And then tell why. And one of the fun things is when after we're done here, which is going to be pretty quick, we're going to move into the Zoom classroom, and we can actually do some more conversations about these questions and share our thoughts, ask questions, and just kind of network with each other. All right, and then on that next question, it says, what is your motto that helps you keep your passion on this journey to being the best teacher, leader, spouse, parent, colleague, sibling, daughter, son, and friend? What is your motto that helps you keep your passion on the journey so that you can be in the moment every day? Write some thoughts down on that question too. All right, my friends. So I want you to think about where you place yourself on that line. What percent of your what percent represents your passionate belief in yourself that you can make a difference for others? Okay, and I want you to think about how you can close that gap. Go from, if you put it at 80, how can you get up to that 100? Okay, can you do that? And I want to say, yes, you can. You can definitely do that. All right. You can definitely move from that 80, 70, even if it's at 50, right up to that 100. Okay. And it all comes down right here, right down to the heart. And that's something important to remember. The author says this: to close the gap requires us to act with compassion and love, to live with hope in our journey, and become more gritty. That's right, gritty and grateful. Okay. Now, in the next chapter that we talk about on the chapter 3 and 4, we're going to look at on Thursday. Okay. we're going to look at and explore the love that is required to become a wholehearted teacher. All right. So that's what we're going to focus on Thursday when we meet again at 9 o'clock Alaska time, 10 o'clock Pacific time. And the chapter 3 is called What's Love Got to Do with It? And then chapter 4 is called Got Compassion? Check. All right. Okay, my friends, I'm going to go back over to our slides real quick here and let's wrap this up. Okay. So again, these are some of the questions that are in the book, and you can elaborate in the book. Why did you choose education as your profession? And hit the pause button for a moment, right? In the story, we talked about Lee, how he was very negative, right? And think about that. And if you don't have the book, think about someone else who's been negative, right? How can you help that person connect to, how does Lee's story connect to your own perspective of life and work? That negative Nellie out there, right? How does that connect? And then to your passion and to your purpose. How does that impact you? And then on the other side, is there someone out there who's more positive that you are like, wow, I really like that, the energy that person is putting out, right? That positive passion. And then how does that impact your life? Okay, and that last box is, what are you passionate about? And how do you know this is your passion? Why is this your passion? Do you have a passion belief in yourself to make a difference in the lives of your students? Why or why not? All right, and so my friends, that is going to wrap up our session today. Okay, so I would love for us to continue connecting. Again, right there highlighted is the Zoom link that we're going to go to. I tried to make it something as easy to remember. It's a bit.ly Zoom link, Annette Zoom Room, okay? You can also email me. You can post comments here. I didn't get a chance to look at comments in the Facebook group today, but I will go back and look at those and I will provide some responses. And also connect on any social media. And don't forget to go to our website, the website blueribbonteacher.com, where you can find lots and lots of great information. All right, my friends, that is all we have for today. And we just are beginning our journey. So today's session was a little bit longer. I don't anticipate the next session that we do to go beyond 30 minutes. If you would like to join me in the Zoom room, right down there at the bottom is the Zoom room link. And so go ahead and type that into your browser, and I look forward to seeing you, and we'll continue our discussion. All right, my friends, that is it for today. And I appreciate that you took some time out of your day to be with us. And I hope that that you join us again on Thursday. If you didn't join us live and you're just watching this video, if you could hashtag replay, share any questions or any comments that you might have, I'd appreciate that. I'll go back and definitely answer those, and other people can provide some answers as well as they've listened to this content. And yeah, I'm really excited about this opportunity. Have a blessed day, everyone, and take care. Bye.